Hey guys, Noel here, and it is Thursday night. Before I go to bed, I thought it would be fun for us to do a video game review for the video game section of the YouTube channel. We recently reviewed The Art of Fighting, and whenever I review an Art of Fighting game, I'm always going on about Piston Takahashi and Street Fighter 1, so I thought it would be fun for us to actually review Street Fighter 1, and we're going to actually be reviewing this, unfortunately not for the TurboGrafx, or it was known as the Fighting Street, because I don't have a TurboGrafx CD. But I do happily have the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, which was a great Christmas present I got, and that features the arcade ROM of Street Fighter 1 with a fantastic arcade cabinet frame for the 4:3 aspect ratio. So I think it would be fun for us to review this game, but before I do, I think it's important for us to have some backstory as that is described in the Fighting Street instruction manual for the TurboGrafx CD. So, without further ado, let's learn about how it's important to fight your way around the world. Get ready for non-stop action as you take on 10 different opponents from 5 different countries in this awesome martial arts marathon. Retsu and Genki from Japan, Joe and Mike from the US, Lee and Jen from China, Birdie and Eagle from England. Some of those games are familiar if you know Street Fighter Alpha. And no matter which country you choose to fight in first, you'll end up fighting the biggest and baddest Kung Fu Kings, that should be Muay Thai, Adan and Sagat from Thailand, if you're good enough. Each different opponent has their own specialty and a, quote, bag of tricks that makes this round-the-world battle a truly challenging adventure loaded with surprises. Move from country to country by defeating 2 opponents who are out to test your best martial arts skills. Find a partner and 2 can play simultaneously. See note below. You can choose to be Ryu or opt to be Ken. Either way, your fighting street awaits you, so shape up and ship out. And the note that it's talking about is about the multi-tap, because the TurboGrafx only had 1 controller port. So without further ado, let's get down to playing Street Fighter on our PlayStation 4. Let's go. So we'll position our camera like so. Hit the lights. Now, we want to load this full of quarters. We hit the options button. Let's start off fighting in the USA, which is probably a bad move because we're going to end up fighting Mike, who is ridiculous. Mike is actually, I would argue that he is, in fact, M. Bison, or not M. Oh, he would be M. Bison in the Japanese version of this game. He would be known as Balrog in the American version of this game. This game being Street Fighter 2, so I'm misspeaking here. But it's believed that Mike and M. Bison, or Mike Bison, are the same character. And in Street Fighter 2, we in the United States know as Balrog, is called Mike Bison, like Mike Tyson. But he's not Vega, who is M. Bison. So, there you go. That garbled lunacy is decipherable to Street Fighter fans. Other than the fact that I said this game and we're playing Street Fighter 1, and I was actually referring to Street Fighter 2, so don't mind my garbled gibberish. Just enjoy me playing this game and trying to teach you a little bit about it. Now, I did not know that this game actually existed for a long time, because my first Street Fighter game, like many, was Street Fighter 2, and so I knew there had to have been a Street Fighter 1, but I just wasn't sure, where it was, what it looked like, and then at a certain point, did it even exist? Because I just not seen any footage of it. But sure enough, my friend did tell me that he did see the original Street Fighter in an arcade and that Ryu had red shoes. And over time, I eventually did get to play it. And once I finally did get to play it, I did like it quite a bit. But the thing you have to understand about Street Fighter 1 is that if you are used to playing Street Fighter 2, which has very responsive controls, this game is different. This game plays actually like a hybrid between Karate Champ, which is the fighting game that you saw in Bloodsport, if you saw Bloodsport, and Street Fighter 2, which means that there is a good amount of button mashing. You do your special move, which is something that is innovative, and this is the first game that I can think of that actually had special moves like this. but they are not that easy to execute. You really do have to kind of, with whatever timing you can muster, mash the motion to do the move. And once you do execute the move, it does a lot of damage. So when we played Art of Fighting, and I was talking about how Art of Fighting and Street Fighter had the same producer, and the special moves do a lot of damage, this is the game where that comes from. Now, this is one thing I love about the original Street Fighter, these kind of cartoony, darn it, these kind of cartoony scenes. And I love the designs for Ken and Ryu, and the really detailed facial sprites of the audience. So that's a lot of fun. Ryu having shoes does not really bother me. If you played Street Fighter Alpha, you know, Ryu's design from Street Fighter 1 is essentially his design from Street Fighter Alpha, minus the red shoes. So now we're fighting Retsu, who is you know, only present in Street Fighter 1. But a lot of the... Oh, shoot. I thought, the way he was flying back, I thought I knocked him out. Now he's knocked out. But there are a lot of characters that did not come to Street Fighter 2, did reappear from Street Fighter 1 and the Street Fighter Alpha series. So, you know, Birdie and Adon and Jen, those are all people from the original Street Fighter. So far so good. We're making some pretty good time here. Oh, right. Now, one thing I love about this game is the muffled Japanese English that sounds like it's being spoken by Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, recorded on an 80s computer, which is, you know, fantastic. I just love it. So, if you didn't hear, when you knock out a guy, you get that beaten up image of your opponent, and he goes, "What strength? But don't forget there are many guys like you all over the world." And if you lose, he'll go, "You've got a lot to learn before you beat me. Try again, kid. Ha ha ha." And if you play Street Fighter Alpha, when Sagat beats you, he says, "Try again, kid," in that same type of voice. So lots of great references of Street Fighter 1 in the Street Fighter Alpha games. Let's hope we can just get out of Japan here. See, me doing that Dragon Punch and Fireball, that's just me rapidly pushing the Hadouken motion here. Ah, man. He's got me cornered here, this isn't good. Oh, man. Now, another innovative thing about this game at the time is the great use of voice acting. When you lose your fights, your opponents will still taunt you, which is, again, that's another thing that returned in Art of Fighting, is the power of the taunt. Man. So, this one claw gimmick returned with the Balrog / Vega. Man, he's really on a roll here. And I got him with... Man. Alright. Whew. Breaking a sweat playing this game here. Now, I have beaten this game, which we're almost certainly not going to do, because Sagat is insanely difficult on this game. Okay, another bonus stage here. Alright, that wasn't too hard. So basically the ending of this is Ryu gets on a plane, and you get a message about how you're king of the hill, and people are going to come and try to take your spot as king of the Street Fighters. Now here's Birdie, who is white in this game and not black. So Birdie went from having a white British punk character design to being a black British punk with chains that he uses to, you know, fight you. Now Birdie is wearing chains in here, but he looks more like you know, he looks like a white guy, and in Street Fighter Alpha he looks like a black guy. Now you do have the pale skin designs for Birdie in the Alpha games as well. Alright, we got him. But, you know, he was basically designed to be a black guy in Street Fighter Alpha. For whatever reason, the people at Capcom thought that that looked cooler, maybe reflected a more hip-hop culture for a street character. Whereas that hip-hop culture was not as, you know, famous. At least this is just my speculation. And the idea of the British punk being a white guy, you know, made more sense in 1987. Man, we almost got him. Please connect. Oh, man. All right. Ooh, that was scary. Now I gotta fight Eagle. But when you play Street Fighter Alpha 3, Birdie actually says, "Oh, I was just pale because I had the flu." So here's Eagle, who looks like a character right out of, what's that Bruce Lee movie where he, Enter the Dragon. I'm just going to try to juggle him in this corner right here. Really nice sprite artwork here. And it just knocked me out. That was not a good showing. But Eagle is really faithfully reproduced from this game in the Capcom versus SNK 2 game. And then he comes back in the PlayStation Portable version of Street Fighter 03. Game which we recently reviewed on the channel. And I have just been felled here. Let's give Eagle one more shot, and if we don't make it past Eagle, we'll just end this review here. Because I think we've gotten a nice taste of this game. Trying to enter your name in here, the controls are insanely responsive, like too responsive. I can't enter my initials here easily. So, again, we're going to enter some quarters in here. That bomb's going to explode if I don't. Alright, so now we've got, again, nice, this game really, again, starts the tradition of really thematic backgrounds for each character. Oh, man. Round 2. Man. He's blocking those dragon punches. Or dragging those Hadoukens. See if that helps. Now, you know, when originally the Street Fighter 1 arcade cabinet had buttons that you just punched, which I guess caused those to break pretty easily. So, but then they ended up switching to the multiple button scheme for your strong and your fierce and your weak punches here. But yeah, I think we'll do one more fight and then we'll wrap it up. I had said that last fight was going to be the last one, but I'm kind of in a mode where I don't want to stop playing, and I might as well have you along for the ride. But if we do beat Eagle here, we'll still close the video. You got a good taste of this here. Now, I mean, obviously, as you get farther in this game, the characters get harder and harder, and it really does take practice to kind of get in the rhythm of, you know, getting the moves to execute it in a time efficient manner, and just, you know, it's a difficult game. In fact, when I have beaten this game, I in the past have not been shy about making generous use of save states. Because of how difficult it can be. So, there we have it, guys. That is Street Fighter 1, played on the PlayStation 4. But again, you can definitely get it, if you are so inclined, on the TurboGrafx CD as Fighting Street. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, guys, my name is Noel. Merry Christmas, and bye-bye.